I'm learning here. I'm learning here. Thank you, Linda. Hello, everybody. Today is Tuesday, August 9th, 2022. It is 7:07 p.m. I'm Jim Stein, Chair of the Lake Balboa Rec and Park Committee, and welcome to this meeting. I think we all know who we all are. Does anyone not know who they are? Or should we go around the clock? Okay, so our invited guests tonight are Jonah Glickman and Viana Para from Councilwoman Nuri Martinez's office, and amazingly, we all know who they are as well. Now, it was pointed out to me that there are some corrections need to be made on the August agenda, and so I will find a pen and do that. One of those is that next meeting is Tuesday, September 13th, not 12th. And in the future, I should have had it on here, but in the future, I will note that these meetings are going to be recorded unless people have a problem with that. With those corrections, is anybody, I'd like to make a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Do we need to vote on that, Linda? Okay. Let's see. Linda, would you vote yes or no on the agenda? Linda Gravani.
I'm not a committee
member. Oh, you're
member.
not? Okay. Only, that's right. Only member.
Okay, so Jim Stein, you're yes?
I vote yes. With
okay, Katie is not here. Linda Schwerin?
Yes.
Ruth Doxey is not here. Nate?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
So we have approval on that. We have some minutes from the June meeting. We got together in July, but it wasn't an actual meeting because I made some errors in sending out the information. So there's some minutes from the June meeting. Now I have them and I sent them to everyone. I'd like to make a motion to approve the June minutes. Anybody want to second that?
I second.
Okay. And
okay.
So
Jim Stein made the motion, Nate seconded. Jim, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay, Katie's not here. Linda Schwerin?
How do you vote on the minutes, Linda?
Linda, you're, I guess we need to unmute you.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. I'm going to have to abstain because I don't see these as official minutes, okay?
Okay, Ruth Doxey's not here. Nate?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, good for that. Item number 5, Jonah, would you like to give us a little follow-up on some of the information that we spoke about at last month's gathering. For instance, the MOAs on the bike path, the purple pipe crossing Bull Creek, the results of the dog park meeting. Jonah.
Sure. Yeah. Good evening, Jim, and good evening, everyone. I'd be glad to. Although I do want to preface that I know that Miriam has had some additional meetings on the dog park with Rec and Parks that I was unable to attend, but I do still have some updates there. Hope everyone's doing well. This is Jonah with Council President Nuri Martinez's office. So just going off your list, the first update, which I know is an area of a lot of interest for folks, is the Victory Bike Path. We actually engaged a survey team with the city's Bureau of Engineering, who was out on Victory Boulevard, I believe about last week, doing a full survey of the area, assessing jurisdictional lines and determining whose responsibility it would be to remove the encampments. As I've said before, there has been a lot of uncertainty regarding the jurisdiction of this area, and so based on the results of that survey, we are hoping that gives us the necessary support from all the agencies, as we have, as was my assertion in the past, but has now been more corroborated by the survey, is that there is shared responsibility between Rec and Parks and Metro to remove these encampments. So I think, as I believe Robbie stated at the last meeting, is that we don't want to clean up an area that we don't have the legal authority to do, because that could lead to legal complications, as the city has faced a lot of those regarding homelessness. So we are just taking extra precaution, but I did want to update that we, fully sent I sent a survey team out from the Bureau of Engineering. They put together a map of the area. I'm working on, getting Metro to the table. I think everyone has been pretty responsive, though, especially Rec and Parks and the Army Corps of Engineers. So, again, based on this survey, we're hoping that Metro agrees with it, because they have contended in the past that they don't have responsibility here. So now we're not working off of hearsay. We're working off of a detailed survey conducted by city surveyors. And then in addition to, while we've been working out this cleanup effort, LASA homeless outreach teams have been going to the bike path almost every single day, actually, and have been engaging with the homeless here on a number of solutions, trying to get folks off the streets and safely into shelters and even permanent housing. So we continue to do that work to, try to support these folks. And then I'm hoping to have operations together. I'm trying to get something cleaned up in August, but it is difficult because I'm working with Metro, which is outside of the city. So I don't control their cleanup crews the way that we do have control over city sanitation crews. So, again, are internally trying to resolve this by the end of the month. And unfortunately, I can't give exact dates for the operations because, again, it is contingent on, LA Metro. But we are, working towards that with all the parties. So that, quick summary on the bike path. Viana and I did also meet with LADWP regarding the Purple Pipe project. The main takeaway from our meeting is that it is going to require the approval of the Army Corps to conduct that that project, and that it could be a very costly and long-term project to do that, to extend that purple pipe, to cross Bull Creek, to dig hundreds of yards of trenches, and to get the funding to do all that. I think, just for context, I know Jim, Richard talked about another project with irrigation that's a few $1,000,000 just to renovate the existing irrigation. So, while we're still looking at that as a long-term solution, in the short term, one thing that we discussed with DWP is that there is a reclamation plant of recycled water very nearby at the Tillman reclamation plant. And DWP had suggested that in the interim, the solution could be to get a water truck out there to the dog park to provide for more watering. So that is something we're looking into as a short-term solution. And I know that Viana and I have followed up with Rec and Parks about all of the various maintenance requests at the park. But again, I was unfortunately unable to be at the last meeting. So, I don't know if Viana or Miriam or if someone else wants to speak more to that, but that is kind of the major update on the watering side. Is we're again looking into seeing if a water truck could go out there, which was something that DWP had recommended. So just a couple updates on that, and here to answer anyone's questions if they have them.
The only other question I would have at this time would be regarding the median, the center median south of Victory on Balboa. I know you said it was going to go to the Civilian Conservation Corps. And
So Viana could definitely speak to that. I know we've had a number of she's been working really hard on that project on the Burbank median through the basin.
Okay.
Before we leave that, Jim, Nate and I have our hands raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm learning how to do that. Okay, well, I will.
You can call on me.
Oh, go ahead, Linda.
Okay. When can the water truck start? How do we make that happen?
Well, we have to talk with sanitation about it. I'm hoping in the next week or two we could get something going. That's just something we'd have to work out, but DWP recommended that, and so we need to follow up with sanitation, and I'll try to see if they could get out there next week. I mean, I know how urgent this is.
Yes, that would be great. And I know that Nori's office has clout, but if you need any more muscle, I'll be happy to flex mine.
So it does help to have I know we have the support of a lot of community members on here, and I know we're always telling folks like this is not it's not just coming from the council office. We're advocating on behalf of a lot of members of the community as well.
Perfect. And when Mayor Garcetti accepted the money from the federal government for our park, our soccer field, what was it, $3 million? I mentioned to Brad Sherman that we want purple pipe and that the problem seems to be Bull Creek and we need federal approval. He says, no, Rec and Park, get an authorization from Rec and Park. I said, yeah, I know, we keep going like this, but what can we do? He says, if you can get Rec and Park to okay it, I will okay it.
Well, unfortunately, it is not that simple. And actually, again, according to DWP, Rec and Park's approval sort of doesn't matter because they need the Army Corps' approval. So maybe
which is Brad Sherman. So we need to get Brad Sherman involved.
Yeah, so his office could potentially help us. Because I've been dealing with the bike path, I do actually have a pretty good relationship with the Army Corps, which I'm happy to bring in here. But again, like the purple pipes, I just want to stress are a long-term solution, and it could take years, but that is still something we're looking into. So
yeah, we started about 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure what happened in terms of how it fell by the wayside, because I know you and Miriam had brought this up to me, so I don't know if that was the Army Corps. I know that we've had a less cooperative administration a lot for the past few years, so maybe that was part of it, but I'm really not sure why it fell by the wayside. But now we're gonna, pick it up and keep trying to shepherd it forward.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Miriam and I are not going to let it go.
Nope, and we won't either.
Okay, Nate?
Yeah, Joan, I'm getting back to the Victory Bike Path encampment. It just seems like it's taken too long to resolve. Should, is there a recommendation, and maybe I can't recommend action at this point, but we should be sending a letter or, have community activists sending a letter to Metro to get them to move faster. It shouldn't take this long to clean up a bike path.
Yeah, I mean,
or maybe we urge the neighborhood council itself to say that this is a priority to keep that bike path safe because our community members use it on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I know that I used to use the bike path. I know Viana's uses the bike path. Like it's if you wanted to send a letter to our office as well, I would totally welcome it. We have I have no issues receiving all the complaints and the pressure from the community. Like we definitely are hearing everyone loud and clear. I think maybe with Metro too, just sending a letter to every interested party here. It is definitely taken too long, and I completely agree with you. I mean, again, like I have been trying personally to clean this up for months, and it's just like homelessness in general, the city can't solve it all on its own. If there was clarity and if this was all clearly city property, it would be easier for us to clean up. But it's just unfortunately, we do find this often throughout the city that areas with jurisdictional uncertainty do have a lot of encampments. Like we have a lot of encampments near Caltrans county property, like so people kind of bounce back and forth. So unfortunately, it has taken too long, and I'm really trying to get that resolved as soon as possible.
Right. No matter whose property it is, it doesn't absolve them of allowing something unsafe, not only for the folks living there, but the people who are choosing to use the bike path, which is me too, and a lot of my neighbors. So
no, and again, if you want to send, I mean, again, like if you all recommend and want to send, letters to the council president's office, like we would welcome that. We want to, respond to this and just make sure that we get it resolved. I mean, if you wanted to send a letter to our office as well, that would be, I would definitely welcome that. So.
Yeah, if we're sure it's Metro's jurisdiction, I would send it to them and then copy your office and the city as well. So, yeah, we need to place the appropriate amount of pressure. I just wanted to get your comment on that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've been trying to apply pressure myself, but I think maybe community pressure will help too. I mean, again, I'm frustrated because I feel like if I was in their situation and someone brought this this circumstance to my attention, I would want to move as quickly as possible. So, I mean, again, it is totally unacceptable how long it's dragged on for, and I'm really, really trying to resolve it. But any support from the community is welcomed, and we are really trying to get that cleaned up and make that bike path safe for the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Miriam? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Question about the purple line. Is the purple line to the dog park predicated on the Bull Creek purple line? Does it have to go through there first?
It would have to cross under Bull Creek according to the DWP. We could ask them to explore alternatives, but I do think that it would be pretty difficult to do without that. So that, I think that was what the issue they brought to our attention.
But supposedly they have it already. It just has to come down Victory.
They have it over on the park side, but it only is around up to Lake, the Lake Balboa. It doesn't go west of Bull Creek currently. And again, I think there may have been proposals in the past, before Viana or I were with the office, that may have been stalled because of this, but now we're just sort of picking it up and trying to move it forward. But again, like it's, I think that the water trucks and Viana, we'll follow up with the departments this week and, see how quickly we could get that extra watering. And I know we've been following up with Rec and Parks, Miriam, but I'm curious, like what your conversations have been. I don't know if we want to dive into the dog park now, Jim, on the agenda. But I am curious, like where Rec and Parks what their comments have been and how we can support.
Well, the purple line, that is really for the future of the maintaining parks. So we'll continue to look at that. But the watering is a very interesting problem. They went in and they did these berms and wood chips around the trees, a lot of the trees, and the arborist, who's like the nicest person I've ever met, he was saying twice a week these trees need like 50 gallons, and they were going to get volunteers and everything. And then the next I heard, it was the smaller trees were getting 20 and the bigger trees were getting 30 gallons. And they watered, and then it was going to be 2 weeks before they watered again. So I will show you. This is a smaller tree with 12 gallons of water. So 30 gallons on this tree in 2 weeks when in 100-degree days is kind of, it doesn't seem a lot to me. I don't want to say that I'm an expert though, but the arborist went from twice a week 50 gallons to 2 times once every 2 weeks 30 gallons. So I don't know. I think there's pressure not to really do this. Maybe I don't. That they turn on the sprinklers. They were on last night. I don't know how much water is getting to the trees from that. Again, I'm not an expert. They're not telling me how often I know there are restrictions. So I don't know if this is enough water. It wasn't what the arborist told me in the beginning. He's going to come look at them on Friday. I was thinking maybe we have an outside arborist look at it. Our group could maybe pay for it, or tree people could come in. But I just don't think that's enough. 30 gallons is for 2 weeks over 100-degree heat is really helping the trees, and all the work they did to prepare it seems kind of crazy.
Well, we can follow up with them. I know, that could be a staffing issue, but I'd like to know more about that. If you're being told one thing and that's not the level of watering that's being done, but we can definitely, try to pressure them to do more watering and see if we can bring a water truck there, if that would, bring more water to the site, maybe on a more regular basis. In addition to the watering, Miriam, I'm also curious if some of your other requests have been fulfilled. I know there was damaged signage. I know there was concerns with the entrance and exits to the park. Have they followed up on, because they told me they were looking into it and they were going to address them, but I'm not at the park nearly as much as you are. So are there any movement on any of your other requests? Parks
put up, and I'm more worried about the trees. So, and it's summertime, people are on vacation, so I don't want to go too nuts about those maintenance issues. We'll see how they do, and we'll revisit it in a while. No, there's not been a lot of movement, but
Okay.
a lot of movement in preparing these trees. So I was really happy with that.
Great. Yeah, I just want to make sure they're also following up on that too. I know the trees are definitely the priority though, and Viana and I will make sure to follow up on that this week and keep you all updated.
I do think if you have this good relationship with the Army Corps, I'm concerned about the erosion. that's going on. Literally the sprinkler head that I photographed a month ago was like an inch above, and it was
Mhm.
always, now it's like an inch and a half. You know, the ground is eroding pretty fast because of the lack of water. Now they're watering it, but you know, eventually we're going to have to get in there and put some vegetation on that to make that ground not erode and blow away. So that isn't something I think the maintenance people right now are really not knowledgeable or comfortable with. So I know the Army Corps has that in their master plan. They have they oversee that, and it may be good to bring them in, and because they're doing another master plan. What is the plan for something like this? And that may be something to look at in the next couple of months.
Yeah, that's
Certainly right now because you know of the heat and the water.
Miriam, can you get the arborist to send an email either to Jim or to myself saying that this is what the recommendation is?
Well, he's gonna come on Friday because I sent him this and talked about my concerns. So
Okay, so but you said 50 gallons of water
that's what he's
is
getting twice a week, and now the 30-20.
so whatever his or her recommendation is, would you get it in writing and send it to Jim or myself?
I have it, so I'll forward it to you. And then he's
Okay.
Friday, so I'll have more information for you.
Okay, perfect. And it's coming from the arborist.
Yes.
Okay. Jonah, the other question that I have is that I know the schools are blessed by the city that they can water more than the rest of us. Is there some way to get the dog park also blessed?
I'd have to look into the water conservation ordinance, but we can, and also maybe we can work around that because the water trucks that we were talking about are with recycled water, so that we could get maybe more frequent watering with that, but also, depends on available crew, truck drivers and maintenance workers, but we are going to keep pressing on that. So
okay,
We might have that happening, but I don't know. You know, I do know in the past we've been blessed as well. So
yeah, there are a lot of exemptions in the ordinance, so I think we may be covered as a park. But I'd have to just look through the details of that ordinance to be for sure.
perfect.
Yeah.
If you get back to us, we'd appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I definitely will.
Awesome.
Stacy, are you still with us? You had your hand up. Stacy? Says you're there.
You have to allow her to talk.
Uh,
I
There we
just
go.
did.
Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, no, I just had a quick question. And Linda, it's the question I asked you, but I asked you the wrong thing. So thank you for trying to answer. What is an MOA? I think I asked Linda I asked you the wrong letters and it was not the thing. What's an MOA?
memorandum of agreement.
Say it again.
Agreement.
Memorandum of agreement.
Okay.
The
Thank
other
you.
was understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's
the
okay.
MOU.
That makes sense. Thank you. Novice, it's a rookie question, so thank you.
That's okay. So can we go on to number 6, Viana?
Yeah, sure. Thank you everyone for your questions, and we'll keep following up on all that stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonah.
You're welcome.
Hello, everybody. This is Viana. I'm sure most of you do know me, but in case you don't, I am the Lake Balboa Field Deputy with the Office of Council President Nuri Martinez. And if I'm not mistaken, my little bit is on the Welcome to Lake Balboa sign, which I very timely, do have an update for that just came
good.
in today. So at this moment, we are expecting the actual project to begin on the 15th, or at least the week of the 15th. So basically next week.
Oh, wonderful.
There will be notices, construction notices sent out to adjacent residents in the area, and we're expecting the actual work to take about 2 weeks to completion. And you know, on top of the signage, the work is expected to replace some of the uplifted sidewalk in the area with flexible pavement that helps the trees, the health of the trees, and also the ADA path of travel in the area.
Oh, I know.
That
what
is
you're
my
talking
update on the
about.
sign, which is a fantastic update. I did not expect that.
Oh. That's wonderful. Thank you. Jonas said you had, you may have other information regarding the median on Balboa.
Definitely. I'm not sure if anyone here noticed, but this morning, from about 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., crews were working on Burbank Boulevard, which I know you asked about Balboa, but we have Conservation Corps currently maintaining Burbank Boulevard from about Woodley to Balboa, at least the medians in that section. So they'll be out daily this week until Friday, which hopefully should give them enough time to properly maintain those medians. But the second that we are done with this project, we'll be planning to tackle Balboa Boulevard next.
Oh,
with the
that's
same treatment.
tremendous. That's tremendous. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Item number 7.
You have some hands raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep missing those doggone hands. I'm so sorry. Stacy, I left you till the end, so I'm gonna let you go first this time.
Okay, well, thank you. I just appreciate you recognizing. So just 2 quick questions. One is a question, one's an observation. So just because it's been a while about the signage, the Lake Balboa, can you refresh my memory where this is going to be? And then I actually drove down Balboa today, and the entire, I was heading south on Balboa towards the freeway, towards the 101, and the entire right lane was closed from Victory all the way to Burbank. And there was a crew doing some kind of trimming or addressing, but on the right side of the road. There was nothing, you know, towards the median. I was wondering if that was related in any way, or if that's a totally different entity working there, because if they're gonna all be closing down lanes at the same time, that could be a mess. Thank you.
I've been stuck inside. I don't know the answer. I'm sorry. Anybody?
Oh, I was thinking maybe Vianna or Jonah would. I didn't think you would, Jim, but thank you for trying.
Memorandum of agreement.
There we go. But you probably would know where the Welcome to Lake Balboa sign is.
Oh, I do know that, but I'll leave it for Vianna.
Definitely. So I'm not immediately aware of the relation between the lane closure that you mentioned near Victory. Could definitely get you an answer though. I'm curious myself. Regarding
it wasn't
the
even
place,
just near Victory, it was all the way, the whole way through the park from Victory
you said it
to
was
Balboa.
Burbank to Victory?
It was Balboa from Victory to Burbank, yes.
Right. Okay. You know, I personally don't know off the top of my head, but I could look into
just so that they're not closing down multiple lanes at the same time because they're not coordinated. So thank you.
Definitely. And then you had asked about the sign placement. So it's going to, for the Welcome to Lake Balboa sign. If I'm not mistaken, it's on Sherman Way in the median just east of White Oak.
Yes. And the other one is by the post office, I believe, on Sherman Way.
Thank you. I didn't realize there were two. Awesome.
Miriam?
Yeah, in terms of the bike path, am I unmuted? Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We found out whether they're going down the wash on the south side of the dog park?
Plans for the future?
That's the bike path expansion from Vinalden to Balboa, right?
Uh-huh.
I actually don't have updates on that. I apologize, Miriam, but I'll follow up with the project manager and see what we can find out.
All right. It seems like it fell off the face of the earth, but I'm worried.
Yeah, I remember seeing reports on that years ago.
Yeah.
We should check in on that and see where they're at. I mean, I know hopefully the impacts to dog park will be minimal. It's mostly to just make that bike path more contiguous through the West Valley. So I know that's the goal.
Mhm. Yeah, we would just like it on the south side of the wash instead of taking part of our park and trees away. Because if it was the plan that I knew about, it was taking 15 feet of the dog park and having the bike path on the other side of the fence.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have to follow up with them on that.
Okay. Thank you.
No hands. Oh, you had something more, Mary?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I went to lower my hand and I raised
Oh.
it.
Item number 7, they're busy working on the restoration at
Jim, you should read the item number for the recording.
item number 7, discussion of mural at Jesse Owens Park. They're busy working on the restoration over there at Jesse Owens Mini Park. There's been discussion of putting a mural on the concrete wall, which is on the north side of the park. If you're in the park, be on the north side. Katie was able to get the Jesse Owens family to allow us to use certain
Images.
And poems and so forth that the family has that they own or whatever, and at no cost through but they are managed by Getty Images, and she worked really hard on it. She's not here tonight, but she sent some of those images to me, and I attached them. And perhaps I think it would be hard for Nate. Oh, you guys have your hands up regarding this. Okay. Well, she sent these, and I think it would be difficult for Nate to share these because he's using his phone, I guess. But maybe Stacy can share some of these images. Is that possible? Stacy? Oh. There's Jesse Owens. I remember him.
And Jim, I'm just flipping through these. Let me know if you want me to slow down.
Well, I think that was one that Katie was very fond of, though. I wish she was here, but I wanted to show them to you and see if you any of you had any opinions, and then we might show them to the full council if that requires a vote.
Jim,
yes.
I understood from you that there was pushback from Rec and Park, that they didn't want anything on their walls.
That's part of this number 7. I asked Rec and Park. I talked to Brian Yamasaki, who's the supervisor at that park, and he told me that he spoke to Viana, and she might have that answer for us tonight. Viana, do you have that answer for us tonight? Whether we can paint on those walls?
I'd rather change that around and say that we want to paint on the walls, and these are the images that we're going to select. So does CD6 and Rec and Park have any issue with that?
I think having those images definitely helps, but I do not have a specific answer tonight. But I think it's a thing that should be done in the sense of what Linda has said. But I will do what I can.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council voted to have the pictures on there when we authorized the whole plan to begin with. So them's fighting words if Rec and Park says it's their wall. It's our wall, and we want Jesse Owens highlighted. Anyway.
Jennifer, you have your hand up. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, thank you. So Katie and I have been talking, and Nate as well. We've been distributing flyers in our immediate neighborhood of the park, trying to let people know obviously what we're doing there, what the construction is, and how they can help if they see something. And while we've been over there numerous times, I mean, in the years that we've lived here too, obviously the last couple of years, we've noticed that, I'm just going to be frank, there are drug addicts that have been living in the park, and they hop that wall that we're talking about painting murals on. And what we've been talking about also is trying to maybe plant some hedges or trees on that wall in addition to the murals. We don't want to lose the murals because I think that's really important for us in this project. But I think we've kind of been wondering if there's a possibility that we could talk about some trees or shrubs or something to try to maybe limit that wall hopping. That business is a big concern for us. They're, I think, part of this problem. So I'm just putting it out there to maybe this is something that we can talk about in the future, or you can let me know how we can talk about it some more. And Katie will probably be back in the next couple of weeks.
I can speak to Brian Yamasaki regarding that, or put it on the agenda. Either way, probably that park will not be open until mid-October, I'm thinking. But okay. Let's see, Nate and Linda, you both had your hands up. Did you take them down, or did you have?
No, we spoke. I did anyway.
Oh, okay.
I'm good, Jim. I was concerned about we're putting murals up, we're putting the park, but there is, as we walk every morning through there, there's people jumping over that wall. There's an unsecure area on the other side where people will, disappear into there for a half an hour and then come out. And I think there's a real security issue there, but Jennifer covered it pretty well.
How
Okay.
high is the wall?
I would guess 6 feet, maybe a little more.
Sounds all right. Let me talk to Brian about it. I don't think they'll have a problem, but You never know.
Well, you know, if there is, bring it to the board.
Um, uh,
Do we need to select the images that we want? Is that what you wanted to do?
we have enough folks to vote on those images if we feel we need to vote on them, or
Who's going to be doing the painting?
well, um, uh, there was two groups. One of them is called Blank Canvas, and another one I can't remember the name of.
They were recommended by the city, is that correct?
No, no, no. They were someone that that Katie has some familiarity with.
You might want to check with Alan Nelson. He has been in charge of our murals for the last, I
Yeah.
don't know, 9
I s-
years.
I spoke to Alan, and he was not real thrilled about getting involved.
Oh, wow.
Jim, I don't know how many hand raises I'm allowed, but I raised it again.
Yes, I noticed. I was about to call on you.
That's a second hand raise. When we're talking about these images, we've now put them out there as potential. And again, I don't want to prolong or make anything more difficult than it needs to be, but would it make sense if we, maybe had these images available for the public? And I don't know what mechanism would be appropriate, if it was through the Lake Balboa Facebook page to get some community input. So it's not a group of 4 people selecting what goes on that wall.
Yeah, I see your point of view.
Is there a mechanism where we could at least get community feedback and based on I don't want to open it up to every picture of Jesse Owens. We have a limited number that are approved by the family. We have some sort of vote without showing a full design. So at least the images that the design will be based on are community based.
The only thing I want to let you know and consider this, for instance, a few years back, we tried to we purchased some chess tables for the park, and we tried to get the community in there, and it turned into about a year and a half of, do you like this one? Do you like this one? Or the price? And ultimately what it ended up being just a few people at a meeting.
Well, we could still put something out on the calendar. Nextdoor has a way to poll, or we could send out an e-blast and say, okay, this is open to the entire database. Let us know which you prefer. And if 12 people respond, 12 people respond.
In making it a very closed-ended question. This isn't give us your artistic impression of what Jesse Owens means to you. It is, here are 5 images, vote
Which do you
on.
prefer?
Yeah, which are your
Give us a
favorites?
yes or a no.
We take the numbers and the decision is made. So again, we do limit the scope of what the question is.
Yeah.
Again, it's a community park. I certainly have an opinion on it, but I think it would be great if it was reflective of the entire community. And I don't have to get my way if the community likes an image over me. So I would recommend that we do that.
May very well find out that everybody agrees with you anyway.
Yeah, but, maybe. First time in my life, but that'd be great.
Okay, we can ask Michael, the communications officer, for assistance.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so
Linda Schwerin has her hand
Linda
raised.
Schwerin.
Linda?
Yes, I did. And I think you just actually voiced my thought to get in touch with our outreach chair. We have a number of avenues that we could pursue from Lake Balboa. Linda Gravani said yes. Next door, we also have our website. We have Facebook. And if we just put images up and ask for folks' opinion, just their opinion of the image and how, if they would like to see it in their neighborhood. That's it. Doesn't mean we're going to choose what it is, but wouldn't we love to get response? Yes.
Yeah, good. So it's a good idea. I mean, it's another way of letting people know that you're there. Yeah, okay. Jennifer?
I was also going to say, we run the Jesse Owens Park Project Facebook page. So that's neighbors that are, very interested specifically in our park. So I can pull those people too with the images that we have and just, make a deadline and give you the results. It's easy enough
Okay.
to do.
Okay, well, that sounds good. I'll buy that. Item number 8, at the risk of talking about things that may be way out there in the future, I would like to talk about the possibility of a future
Read
event.
the item, please, Jim.
Item number 8, discussion of a possible future event at Woodley Park. As I said, at the risk of talking about something that's way out there in the future, I wanted to see what anybody had, if anybody had any idea or opinions about having a possible future event. I already spoke to RAP, and the only place to let us have an event is at Woodley Park. Would anybody like to think about the possibility of a future event at Woodley Park? We're going to have an event to open a grand opening of Jesse Owens Park. This would be like maybe in February or March. Miriam?
Yeah, I proposed this to Jonah, and I would like to see this happening at our park because of the shelters being overcrowded, but we would like to put together monthly adoptions that would be under the auspices of Nuri's office and the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. We have rescues that would be involved, the shelters would be involved, and it's a beautiful, perfect place to have those. And we could do most of the work in organizing. The rescues are great, and it would be great for the community. So I'm going to do a proposal and let everyone see that and give it to the shelter as well and see how it works for them. They just did a big adoption at Dodger Stadium. They tried to bring 100 dogs, but they couldn't get 100 volunteers. But I think a monthly adoption here would be awesome. Sundays with the farmers market, and so I'm gonna float that and see what everyone thinks about it.
Okay, we if Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council works with you on an event, we have to jump through a bunch of hoops, which is one of the reasons why I said, would anybody like to speak about something in the future? Because there's so many hoops, I wanted to be totally prepared for it. And actually, amongst all the attachments, there was the application that we've, and there's so many things on that application that we have to fill out.
Well,
So-
you know, the thing about the shelters is they can hold adoption events at any city-owned property, or so that we were able to have adoption events as long as the shelters were involved.
But if we are going to be involved, we have to jump through these hoops. The city requires it. And I'm not saying we wouldn't want to. I'm just saying, give us time to fill out the documentation and everything that.
Absolutely, and I'll help as much as I can.
I think
to do that.
I think what Jim is trying to explain is if Miriam, your group decides that they want to do it, we can assist. If we decide it's our idea, we have a gazillion things that we need to check off on the list, and then could be denied because we didn't do X, Y, and Z. So if somebody does something, we can join in. Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, what I would like to see is Nuri's office put their names on it, because I think it would be great. It would be a great event, monthly event for you guys. And it would kind of smooth the way on some of these things, I think, with the councilwoman's name on it. And it would be great outreach for the neighborhood council by far, you know, to have that and a presence. And all of these other things can be worked out.
We got several hands up, Jim.
Yeah. Nate?
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, just a clarification on this agenda item. Are you looking for event ideas for something that we host in Woodley Park as either as a council or as a park and rec committee?
Well, anything that would be in one of the parks obviously would be involved park and rec or rec and park.
Yeah.
The first question is, do you want to have it? The next question would be, what might it be?
Okay.
The third thing might be when. We really only have one location they'll allow us. I off the top of my head, I thought about a car show over at Woodley Park, but that's just a thought off the top of my head. Jennifer.
If we're talking about Woodley Park, I mean, I was wondering, you know, there's a lot of those like pop-up events that are happening at the big Lake Balboa Park. And I was also thinking about doing something like that with local vendor pop-ups at Jesse Owens, but obviously Woodley Park is great. I reached out to in a group and they said something about permits being a problem when you're talking about doing those vendor pop-up events. So I think that if, you know, I know that they're happening around in our parks. I don't necessarily want to stir the pot on permits, but I know that that's a concern. And I'd love to get permits for that to happen.
It gets complicated if you have vendors selling things, that makes it very complicated. We never had vendors selling anything.
So what's the massive vendor pop-ups that are happening in the big Lake Balboa Park?
Well,
It's not sponsored by the neighborhood council.
yeah.
The neighborhood council has nothing to do with it. The rec and park department gets money from the permits and then they're okaying it. But if the neighborhood council has anything to do with it, we have to be plain vanilla. We can't be promoting any particular business.
When we want to do something, you're directed to West Valley Rec and Parks, which is over there on that little road that goes from between Woodley and Lake Balboa Park. It's that little section in there, and that's where their office is. And they try and direct you to Woodley Park. They have a limit on size. If you get a little bit too big, then you got to get into, then you got to start talking about environmental impact. So things, many people have come wanting to do music, things and stuff like that, as you may know, and the environmental things became an issue. We can go to Louise, like we've had the movies, but you're limited to about 250. They probably have nothing over at Jesse Owens. They're going to allow this one because, well, it's going to be kind of a little special deal. I never asked them about the dog park, but I know that there's been some things done there. But yeah, they pretty much try to direct you toward Woodley Park. Your size limit is like about 1,000. You have to pay. You have to tell them. You have to like almost have RSVPs and so forth. It's kind of complicated. That's why many times in the 7 or 8 years I've been with Lake Balboa, we've tried to do things and it's always flopped because it gets really complicated. And then even when we get through those complications, then the city starts throwing the hula hoops at you. And like Linda Gravani said today, those hoops get smaller and smaller, making it really interesting. But that's what they tried to direct you toward Woodley Park.
Jim, you have Linda Schwerin and Miriam still with raised hands and myself.
I do. Linda Schwerin.
I almost forgot. Okay, you were asking about potential or possible events, and this may not be possible in current times, but Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, along with our assembly member at that time, which was Greg Smith, we did a huge Lake Balboa Day in 2008, and it was at Balboa Park.
Yeah, those are out.
Yes, so I figured that's kind of an out thing now, and if we decided to have anything now, it would have to be at Woodley Park. Am I correct?
You're right.
Okay. So would it be possible to have a thought that we could make something for next year, perhaps next spring, and provide a theme and do something as a huge community outreach and plan it for Woodley Park?
That was my thought.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
Stacy Rotter has her hand raised, but we can't see it.
Oh, okay. No, I can't. Stacy.
And we can't hear you.
Are you still with us, Stacy?
Well, she's sending me a message.
Oh,
She needs to be unmuted, but I don't see her.
yeah.
We don't
Oh.
see you, Stacy.
How about now?
There I am. Thank you.
Hey,
I don't know
there
how
we
I'm
go.
showing up differently. For some reason, I was booted out of the Zoom, and when I came back in, it seemed like you guys couldn't see me. So I apologize and thank you.
No, it's all my fault. Blame me.
No, but Linda, thanks for responding to the bat phone. I appreciate it. So my hand was actually up since the previous agenda item. So if it's okay, I'd like to start there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I clearly you couldn't see me. There was no big deal. But my comment was going to be about in terms of the choices of the artwork. First of all, I second everybody's ideas about using social media. I was going to also offer the following suggestions. not opening it up for feedback, but make it a straightforward poll on Nextdoor that's limited to the Lake Balboa areas, and on Facebook, which I'm sure that our communications officer could handle, but make it a poll. So literally you want to, if you want people to do something, you want it to be easy for them. So you want them to be able to click on their favorite, click an option. So a poll just gives you that kind of feedback. I would also suggest maybe this committee or the full council limit the number of things. Providing 5 choices may be a bit too much. Narrowing it down to 2 or 3 may help you get more feedback, because if people get a lot of information, sometimes that lessens their likelihood of responding. So I totally love Nate's thought to get the community feedback. I think that's really important and I appreciate that. But I think narrowing the choices increases the likelihood, and making it really easy for people to respond will also increase the likelihood of getting that feedback. And the idea of like, well, let's get feedback, and that doesn't mean we're going to take it. That isn't necessarily the approach that I want to hear as a community member. I would hope that you would heed, if there was an overwhelming response, I would hope that that would be taken as a considerable factor in the decision making. And for the record, I have an opinion too, Nate, but when this all turns out, I want to know if you were right. So you have to report back, okay? And then the thing that I was
There
gonna
went my
mention
secret ballot.
Oh, well, after the fact. Sorry, you don't have to. I respect your privacy. And then I forget, what was the current item that we're on? Thank you for letting me acknowledge that.
Woodley Park.
Discussion
the
of
idea-
possible future event at Woodley.
Yes. Thank you. So the idea that I had in terms of that would be, I know that we may or may not, or may have a recently disbanded EP committee, but perhaps those volunteers or CERT would want to partner with Rec and Parks to do some kind of an EP event at Woodley Park. That could also be outreach. So
I thought
was my
about that myself, and if we only, if we had a chair of an EP committee.
To be continued.
sometimes you don't need a chair, you just need good worker bees.
I just want to say that Rex and Parks doesn't do that. Not in my experience. I've never seen them do that.
Do what?
Right, but that's why I was saying in partnership.
Yeah, I haven't seen them do a partnership. But
Well, I don't think there's any reason why 2 committees on the neighborhood council couldn't partner for something, because I've seen that happen in other areas, in other, for other things. Thank you, Linda Schwerin, for that nod. So, okay, just an idea. Don't have to take it.
yeah, no, it's worth trying. I
have my hand raised.
Linda Gravani.
A while back, we, when Danica was new on our neighborhood council, we thought about starting the summer or the spring with like a bike parade for the young kids to get out. We're trying to get the kids out and be healthy and use our parks, and we've been sequestered for so long we've forgotten about it. But we thought about having a bike parade where the kids would decorate their bikes and ride around the lake. And I'm sorry, the lake is our lake. I don't see that Rec and Park says we can't do anything at Lake Balboa. When we were doing the emergency memorial for Linda Pruitt, we were told, no, we can't. Yes, we can use it. But then all of a sudden, no, we can't. But that's the perfect place to go riding around the lake with your bicycle and your kids and having a contest of some sort. So I would like to revisit that, and I'd like to find out why we can't have anything at Lake Balboa. The Task 5K walk was at Lake Balboa, but yet we're told no. So I think we need to get to the bottom of that. Anna, Jonah, do you have any comments on that? Because that just irks me.
I was told the other day when I called that Lake Balboa is restricted for birthday party type events.
Why?
A good idea.
See, that's the
Well,
question we need to ask.
I mean, I don't
Linda,
want to.
isn't it the
drag
council's
this on
birthday
longer.
soon? Sorry, Jonah. I was just saying, isn't
No,
it
no,
the
no.
council's birthday soon? Can't we have
Yeah.
a neighborhood council birthday party? Wink, wink.
Yeah, wink, wink. Yeah,
So,
except we don't have
really
time.
quick, Linda. Yeah, so I mean, special event permits are issued for the park all the time. I think you all see them, the 5Ks, the cleanup events, the filming events that go on in the park. So I again, I'm not sure who was telling you that at Rec and Parks, but I mean, we're always supportive of special event permits. I know when we partner, it helps with the insurance liability. I know that we've done a lot of partnerships in the past with other organizations. So I think we all know the park's potential. And, Viana and I can help you like shepherd things through Rec and Parks. We really want to make sure that we activate that space. And that's definitely something that's important to the office. So, we're here to support you any way we can.
All right, thank you.
Okay, well, let's see if we can get the specifics on that Lake Balboa and not just that generalization. Sound right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's a question for you, Jonah.
No, Jim, he's chair.
Jim first, Jonah second.
I think you have a good shot because this was put into place, this restriction on uncertain events a while back. It was put in before Mike Schull came on. A lot of that he loosened up because there was no reason to be so tight on where, they wanted us to do our events at Woodley, which was crazy. He said, let them do it there. So I think whoever is overseeing it now may be open to new regulations and to talking about it. I think that's worth a try.
Well, I'm going to make some phone calls, and I intend to have a representative from RAP at next month's meeting. So we will put it on there. Fair enough, everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to remind everyone that's been around a while that in the very beginning, when the lake was first created, we had the 4th of July. What do you call it?
Fireworks.
Thank you, fireworks.
Item number 9, public comment. And as Linda always says, you can comment, and unfortunately, I can't answer, but we'll listen. Anybody?
All the other committees that they let you have a conversation during the comment time. I'm not looking to have a conversation, but I don't see any reason why it can't be a conversation.
I'll tell you why, because the state of California has the Brown Act, and the Brown Act says we cannot discuss anything that's not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, somebody may say, oh, I'll go and join that meeting. If it's not on the agenda and we discuss it, there are other people who would say, well, if I had known you were going to talk about that, I would have come to your meeting. So we can't, unfortunately, but we just had a discussion.
My hand is up, but I don't think you can see it.
I can see it.
Oh,
Would
you
you
can?
like
Okay,
to
then
see?
I will wait. Sure. I was just gonna say that my mind is blown by the previous statement that was just made when the lake was created. I have a million questions, and I know you guys can't respond now, but I have so much I'm curious about now and so much to research. So thank you for bringing that topic up, because I had no clue that that was created in recent times. So thank you.
Oh. Thank you. Jennifer?
I just wanted to thank all of you and my neighbors for getting the Jesse Owens Park project going. It really means a lot to us that live in that immediate vicinity. And every day now I feel safer walking my dog. So that's all.
That's great. Linda Schwering, did you still want to say something? You took your hand down.
I took my hand down because I've been listening to those attending the meeting tonight, And I think you've had a lot of great comments. We may have more, even though the committee members can't answer. I could refer Stacy to some historical things with regard to the Sepulveda Basin, and she'll find some quite amazing things with regard to agriculture and how it's converted to what it is today.
You guys can't respond, but I can say thank you.
I'd
I
like
would
to
love an email, Linda. Thank you.
I'd like to take my moment of public comment to say that I very much want to use my opportunity on the neighborhood council to get more people aware of all the historical elements around Lake Balboa. And that's going to be my other goal. Because I love history and I love parks. And Stacy, you still had your hand up, or you wanted to say something? Oh, no. And Linda Schwerin, you have your hand back up.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yes, I have my hand back up again. And Jim, I agree with you completely, because with regard to rec and parks, since our San Fernando Valley historically was such an agricultural place, we were so abundant with producing everything and with all kinds of diversity. And a lot of that area now is either parking lots or it's part of rec and parks. And so the areas that rec and parks have taken up, would be nice to sort of highlight history on what happened. Like, do you remember when, or before you were born? What happened then?
I like that. I like that. Well, thank you, everyone. This was a wonderful meeting, and unless anybody has anything else, I'm going to go on to number 10, which is adjournment. Thank you very much for attending.
8:24 p.m.
Okay.
Stop the recording.
Thank you and good
Thanks
night.
again, everyone.
Good night.
Have
Thank you.
have a great
Take
night.
care, everybody.
Thanks everybody for being
Night.
here.